in 1958 to pave way for the Kariba Dam. And how these people are living and how they survive, it takes God. And that's why I've said this is just a 1/3 of the people of the entire chiefdom that have been displaced. They were shifted from the other part to here to be brought in this land which was not good for them, and they died. When they were transferred or transported, it was hard for the people of Chipepo to come here because they were forced by the colonial government to come here, and this land which were not in their heart, because this land had nothing. It was a totally bush and a lot of animals. And when they were put here, 3/4 of the Chipepo people, they died because of malaria and because of tsetse fly. This was the game reserve area. And you know, when you land in the area which is a game reserve, there is elephants, there is these hippos and all these animals, wild animals. They move with the tsetse flies and they were attacked. Some of them, they died because of being eaten by the wild animals when they were shifted to come here. And these people, they fought with the colonial government. They did not want to come here. And they said, we are not shifting, we are going nowhere. Because we don't know, we are used in our land in Chipepo. That is in the deep in the Kariba Dam. Before they were shifted on land. So they fought with the colonial government. 21 people were jailed in prison because they resisted. They did not want their children to suffer here, to come here. In 1957, Chief Chipepo, the first chief, were shifted first, and they dragged him forcibly, brought him here, and they built him a small palace, put him in the middle of the bush thicket with a lot of animals, with these soldiers guarding him. And also they brought 21 people here forcibly to come and survey the land. And when they were brought here, they surveyed from the bridge, Chirundu, and there is a river called Bendere, and they showed them this land. But still more, they resisted. And they went to Luangwa, to Feira, border to Mozambique. There is also land. And the Chipepo people refused that land. They never stopped. They went to, in the chiefdom of Chikanta, somewhere. They showed them the land. And also they resisted. Not until the governor, colonial government in 1958, they brought the soldiers. The Chipepo people with their spears and their shields trying to attack the soldiers with guns, exchanging firearms with the guns, and they resisted. So now, after a long resistance, it took several months. From 1957 to 1958, it took 1 year. The people of Chipepo resisting, never wanted to come here. On September 1958, at 10 hours, then they loaded their spears and their machetes and other things, went to the battlefront, facing the soldiers with their guns. Now the 8 warriors, Chipepo warriors, with their shields, standing before these men, these soldiers, trying to fight with the spears, exchanging with the firearms. And the DC, by then the governor, ordered that these people are tough. They are not going to agree to go to Lusitu, since the land has been secured already, and negotiations were made with the chiefdom of Skongo, and Skongo was paid for, and this land was given to the Chipepo, and these people, Chipepo, they refused. And now they started the fight. The first people to fight were us, the Chipepo people, fought the soldiers with the spears, trying to hammer them. And now the governor commanded the soldiers to kill 80 people, and they killed them. And when they were killing them one by one, as you saw at the ceremony, they were shooting one by one. They shot one, and they said, aha, it is possible you can sweep that gun. Meanwhile, the person was dying. When they saw him falling down, they thought maybe he has swept the gun point. But meanwhile, he was dead. And they shot the second one, the third one, until the 80th one. And that's how now the Chipepo people surrendered and said, we surrender. We thought maybe we are swinging the gun, but in the meantime, we are dying. So they surrendered, and they went to their people and said, we are going to die. These people are going to kill us. Let us surrender and go to the place where they have secured for us. That's how now they were put in the searchers. There were lorries they called searchers, and these lorries, they had no windows. They had little windows on top. All these were black. Those were containers with little windows. They didn't dare that these people are going to suffocate, because it was forcing. With their goats inside the searchers, with their grains, maize meal, finger millet, placing them in those searchers. It was so terrible, and these people, they didn't like. And that's why their hearts are so hurtful. They need people like you who have a heart to come and sit with them and hear the stories to them, because they are still grieved of what happened. Their people died, and they were not buried. The grader came, dug one hole, one grave, and they buried them together in one grave, and they never did any funeral. They just buried and forcefully came here, put them in demarcations according to the villages. They brought just a few villages here, 3,000 in number that came here. We are now 33,000 around Chipepo Lusitu Chiefdom, but only 3,000 people were relocated from all the Chipepo to here in Lusitu. And that's how now we were brought here. They died with a lot of diseases. Chief Chipepo shifted 2 villages from here to Sinadambwe Chiefdom because of the malaria and sesefry. People started dying. People started getting sick of different diseases. And the land here is not good. This land is soil, the sand is sandy. They cannot cultivate well. Every year they suffer. There is no food for the people. And that's why they go to Chirundu to just work for their living. But it's so terrible and hard. The old ladies, the widows, and the orphans are suffering heavily here in Chipepo. And that's why now we are gathered as a church trying to secure or to find some little finances to help the widows, suffering old men, suffering widows, suffering orphans, and other people. We cannot afford as people of Chipepo because we are in the dry land. See now this land, there's nothing, there's no mine here. No mine. When we rely on the land, we relied on our land that was submerged there in the deep waters, because we could plant fruits and maize, pumpkins throughout there. We were harvesting 3 times in a year along the Zambezi, where we were relocated. Now to be brought here on the land, very dry, nothing, no mining. The underneath water is not safe. If we drink this water, you will find that the ladies and the men, their teeth are becoming brownish. That means there is something, an oil or something like a mineral which cannot be consumed by human nature. So now, these people are in trouble. Though they are living because God is helping them. But we are praying for the international people to understand the Tongas, that they are most sufferers. And these other people, other tribes like Lozis and other tribes, they came stealing our animals. That side, they were stealing our animals. This side, we were forced and relocated, brought here on the dry land, where we cannot afford to live on the living standard. It's not good, but we are praying that one day God is going to remember us. One day God is going to remember the orphans, the widows, the old-aged, the old women, the old ladies, and the youth that are suffering. He's going to bring things that these people can use. This is just a little story of how we were relocated to come here. It was not on our intention, but we were forced and killed. And when the celebration is done, to just remember the dead. So every year we are doing that one. It's a special ceremony. It's unlike these other traditional ceremonies. This is just to remember them and remember how we were relocated, how we were displaced, coming to the dry land, and we are crying to the governments, but no government is ever answering to our cries. No, nothing. People are still living in thatched houses. They're still living without food, without clothes, nice clothes, without electricity, no nothing. So this is just a little story, my brother Douglas, to share to the world that we are here as natives and we are ready to embrace, to receive anyone. If he comes with the irrigations, comes whatever. As long as the Lord speaks to that person, whatever, we are here. We will go to visit some of the villages and understand and see how these people are living, pounding their maize and doing all those things. Thank you so much.